Hello, guys. Welcome to the With My Own Two Hands podcast. I'm your host, McKenna Lee, or Exo McKenna. You might know me as Exo McKenna if you are part of our amazing, and I put emphasis on amazing, our amazing community on YouTube and also Instagram and the socials. Let's say. I have been growing this amazing community for just over 5 years now, and my dog Kinsley has just joined us. Hopefully she stays quiet because she is not a quiet dog. I have a Maltipoo, and she is the cutest thing, 7-pound thing that ever did exist. Hopefully she stays quiet. Hopefully she'll just come up here and lay down with me. So I've been growing this amazing community on YouTube for a little over 5 years now. And what started as just a way for me to have a creative outlet, for a way for me to share projects I was working on or things that I was trying out, turned into something incredible. And oh, good girl, Kinsley. She's laying down now. And we are also filming this for YouTube. So if you are not watching on YouTube, we also have it there if you'd like to watch us and see Kinsley and see me and see our many guests that I hope to have on this podcast very, very soon. So I asked you guys actually on YouTube what you wanted to see, what you wanted to hear, what you wanted us to talk about or me to talk about. And I feel like on YouTube, I have two channels also. I have my quote unquote main channel where it's all about renovation. So we have been renovating a 111-year-old house now, 111-year-old cottage in Texas for almost 2 years. And even before that, I was decorating my apartment, just one apartment on the channel, and just creating a house into a home. And I've been doing that with my own two hands, hence the name of this podcast. And ever since I can remember, I've been doing things with my own two hands. I love trying new things. I love doing things myself. I love learning new skills. So through that, I was sharing my journey through this renovation. I was sharing my love for DIY projects and for learning new skills on YouTube. And you guys have been really loving it too. And I cannot express to you how grateful I am for you guys. And I know a lot of you guys are probably listening to this episode because I actually asked you what you wanted to hear, what you wanted to talk about or know, because I feel like there is this missing puzzle piece to the YouTube channels. And there's this conversation that we can have that we don't get to have on YouTube because it just doesn't fit. You know, it's like my main channel, like going back to what I was saying, my main channel is my renovation channel and it's picture perfect. It's the renovations all perfectly delivered, if you will. Now, I do share mistakes. I'm a real person. This is a real life renovation. So I do share the ups and downs of this process. But it is kind of like just a perfect little like wrapped present of a renovation project that I was working on. Like, let's say, you know, we've been renovating our living room, which we are in right now. And it's been such an amazing project because it is literally coming to life in such an amazing way. I love it. So, you know, episode 1 will be like, oh, we're going to build the fireplace and we're going to plaster it and lime wash it and it's going to come out perfect. And then, you know, through those episodes, there's been 3 episodes now. There'll be one final episode because there's a little bit that's left undone, but we were decorating for Christmas. So Happy New Year to you guys. I'm filming this in the new year. So there'll be one more episode. Now I have a vlog channel where you get to see all the behind the scenes, all the things that I don't put into that picture perfect renovation video. And you really get to see I have to go pick up all of these supplies and, you know, how much those things cost and all the prep work to gearing up to do a major project or a major renovation project in the house. So you get to see all of that. And then also just my life. And I love vlogging. I love the vlog channel. I love that channel. I love both channels, but I love them for different reasons. And then on socials, like Instagram and TikTok, you'll see, variations of that. But I feel like there's a lack and there's that missing puzzle piece to all the lessons I've learned, the background behind it, the decisions, and just we don't get to sit down and just chat about that. I feel like the only way you can really get to know those things that I feel like there is a lot to be shared that isn't shared is through maybe Q&As that I do on my vlog channel specifically, where you guys ask questions and we get to talk about them. And like, we've been through so much. This is such amazing. It was an amazing experience, also a very overwhelming experience, educational experience, and just renovating the house and getting to live vicariously through my parents that are also builders. My mom's an interior designer. My dad is a civil engineer / architect. They have built homes my entire life. They've built new homes. So I've got to see their direction. I've got to see their experience and the ups and downs of those processes and going through those. And so it has helped me in renovating, even though this is a completely different project than they have ever done. It's helped me in this world and doing this, and I've been given a little bit more confidence because I can lean on them when I have questions. But I am learning a whole bunch of new stuff that they've never had to tackle or never got to done. So got to do. So it's we're learning from each other, so to speak. So I feel like this podcast is going to be that missing puzzle piece. And I want you guys to let me know what you want to talk about. Anything and everything to help you. Maybe if you are going to be getting into a renovation or a flip project, or you're going to just be decorating your home. And I have a very specific style. I love all styles. I used to decorate for a living. I also used to be a fashion designer. We'll get into that. But I think this is going to be a great just avenue for us. So I want to hear what you have. I want to hear. So I did launch this idea. I was like, I'm launching a podcast on my vlog channel. And it was a big announcement because it's actually been something we've worked on for a few months now. And I asked you what you wanted to hear. And by far and away, there were a lot of topics that you guys were repeating over and over again that you wanted to hear. One of those was starting from the beginning and really getting to know, the back end. Like, how did I end up here? And now why are we on a podcast when I always thought I was a very visual person, which I'm glad we're doing video versions of this podcast because you actually get to see me in the space and we get to show you pictures and stuff. So if you want more context, if you're just listening in, you can watch the video too. And so that was the number one question. Why? How did you get here? And how did we build this community? And how did we start tackling this project? And that's what we're going to do in this episode, like how it's all come about. And I want you guys to leave every video, every podcast episode, every piece of content or something that I share with feeling like you're so inspired and feeling like you can tackle anything because you really can. If you're safe and you research and you think it through and you ask the right questions, you can. And I'm proof of that. And so I want you to leave everything feeling inspired, like your cup is like filled up and you're ready to tackle whatever it is. It doesn't even have to be, it could just be like cleaning your living room, or it could be just being motivated for the day. And I've felt like over the years of building this channel, I pride myself more on not that you guys would duplicate something that I built, or not that you would DIY this massive project, that you would just feel empowered to do whatever you needed to do and do it in your own way and create and feel like you can accomplish anything. And that is what I pride myself most on. And I'm so proud. I keep thanking you guys, but I'm so grateful and I'm so proud of the community that we have built. So where did it all start? So growing up, my mom will attest to this. I was always, my phrase, you have your first words and mama, daddy, whatever. My phrase, my go-to phrase was me do it, me do it, me do it. From anything, from feeding myself as a little kid, like a very, very, like a baby, to me putting away my toys, to me building something. Growing up, I would actually take things apart to see how they were made and then put them back together. I was that kid. I didn't really like playing with Barbie dolls or whatever, but I liked to figure out how things were made. And so growing up, I always had that mentality, me do it. I always wanted to accomplish something on myself. So you could really say that DIY is in my blood. Like it is truly who I am at my core. And I've always had this like outlook of, well, if that person can do it, I can do it too. If they learned how to do it, so can I. And if they accomplished that, I mean, everyone was born, I have this mentality of like everyone was born the same way. Like we all came out the same way. So it's just a matter of acquiring the right skills and asking the right questions. And Google is my friend. I Google everything. And I didn't go to school for renovations. I'm not a contractor. This is not, I didn't even go to interior design school. I went to fashion design school. Now, a lot can be transferred over and applied, but I am self-taught. This is not a college degree. I am self-taught in all things. And Google is the best learning, best place to learn all these things. Growing up, I had this Me Too personality. I would break apart everything to figure out how they were made. And as I got into high school, that's the time that you needed to figure out what you wanted to do in life. I don't know how you're supposed to figure out at, 17, what you're supposed to do for the rest of your life. And I actually thought I had it figured out. I was pretty confident that I was going to be a fashion designer. And I think more so I was confident that I would be doing something creative. And at the time, that was just where my sights landed. And so I applied to go to FIDM in Los Angeles and got in as a fashion design student. I don't think it's that hard to get in. I think it is harder to get into the fashion design kind of realm. They try and push you. They ask you a lot of questions. And they try and push you into other majors if they don't feel like that's what do you want to do kind of thing. So they'll put you into some other majors. The FIDM is an amazing college if you apply it. If you actually go there, and it's very tedious and it's very focused. It's not like I took a whole bunch of classes that I didn't need, so it's very focused. So going into college, I applied myself really, really hard. I breathed that school. I graduated summa cum laude, I think. And I'm very much a person that's like going to apply themselves and do it. If I make a decision, I'm going to follow through and do it. And so going to college was a great experience. And then so I finished my fashion design degree, just an associate's. And I was like, no, I'm going to start working. I know that the experience is really what I need. I don't need more schooling. And so I started working, I started interning. Well, at the time, it was like, I think I graduated. I'm 34 now. I graduated with my first degree in 2009. And that was around the time where things had happened in the world. The market had crashed. No one was hiring. It was a really tough time for businesses, and specifically in all industries, but it was also affecting the fashion industry. So I felt like I could be an intern forever, but no one was really hiring me. And looking back on it, it was hard. Like I had a lot of experience because I think I interned at maybe 7 to 8 different fashion houses in some capacity, whether it was design or assisting or more marketing or whatever it was. I interned so much, just hoping that someone would hire me, so I was working for free. And I was also on the side working at an Italian restaurant where I met Romeo, my boyfriend. That has been my boy. We'll be together 14 years in February, which is crazy. So we met there. I was working because I had to make money. I couldn't just, work for free forever, even though that's just, it was my reality. That was what was happening. So I ended up calling one of the fashion houses that I actually interned for and asked them for a letter. I was just trying to collect some things, like I was just trying to collect enough to be valuable for someone to hire, right? So I reached out to them for a letter of recommendation, and they actually said, "Oh, wait, our assistant, our design assistant is actually going on maternity leave. Would you be interested in her position?" And I was like, "Yes." Now, I have a horror story about working for that fashion house. It was a very small company, but horror story. We can get into that later if you would. I won't ever say who they are, but oh my gosh, I have horror stories. I think I worked there for about 11 months. It was just shy of a year. It was intense. But I worked in fashion. Then from there, I actually had a friend that worked for a different company. She was like, "You got to get out of there. Like it's such a toxic environment. Like, it was bad." So she got me an interview as a receptionist. Now I had to back up to move forward in the fashion industry at that time. And so she got me an interview. I knew I had the fortitude. I knew I had the work ethic to hopefully grow really quickly. I just needed my foot in the door. And so I interviewed and I was overqualified. But it was just the reality. So they hired me as a receptionist / like fulfillment person for online sales. And I started there. I did that job, I think, for a month before I got promoted. And to my advantage, the company was actually growing pretty quickly. So it was actually on the way up. So there was room for growth, and I knew that. So I had to kind of back up to move forward. Did a month of work and got promoted, and felt like quickly, I think, I gained in responsibility, but I felt like quickly I was going to hit a ceiling because I only had an associate's degree. And when working in fashion with an older kind of management team, they had a very old school mentality, so I just knew it, that I was not going to get to where I wanted to be with just the degree that I had, because I looked around at the people around me and I was like, oh my gosh, they have bachelor's degrees. And I stopped I just stopped it. I stopped my education to get, to move on. So anyways, I went back to school full-time online at FITM, doing all of my classes online at night while working full-time. I told no one. Now, eventually, some people had to find out because I was, contrary to me thinking that I needed the education, the extra education, I was actually still doing really well at the company. I was growing. I was getting responsibility. I just knew it. I knew it in my gut that I wasn't going to get to where I wanted to be. So I went back to school full time. I killed myself. When I say that my hormonal state, my whole body was affected by that decision, I mean it. I had horrible acne, hormonal acne. I was crying all the time, but I was determined. I was not going to sacrifice or put in jeopardy me progressing at the company because they think that I couldn't do it because I was taking on too much responsibility. And no one knows what I'm capable of but me, or maybe my mom, or maybe Romeo, those people. But I knew it in my gut. I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it well, and you're never gonna know because it's not gonna affect my work, and it's not something that I needed to tell them. So I did it. I did it full time, and I remember by then, that was another year and a half to get my bachelor's degree. I graduated. I had my kind of announcement of me like graduating or walking or whatever, that I was graduating. And I took it, and I took the CFO of the company out to the hallway, and I handed it to him. Well, it went sideways because he thought I was inviting him to my graduation, which was kind of weird. But I was like, no. I was just telling you that, and he goes, what do you mean? And I was like, I've been going to school full time behind the scenes. And he's like, are you kidding me? I was pretty proud, for everything that I had went through. I was pretty proud of that moment. So I graduated, and I don't know I can't tell you that really is why I started advancing more. But I think in some way it gave me a leg up in some way, or at least put me on the same playing field as everyone else. So I graduated, ended up growing really quickly, and doing and introducing a lot of things to the company that didn't already exist. So I grew their online presence and online website and their online sales millions of dollars, and opened retail stores and set them all up and all of that stuff. So I think that I was pretty valuable. I ended up being the VP of marketing for many, many years. So a lot of people don't know that I had a huge career and a life before this. And I didn't start my YouTube channels and I didn't start sharing my projects online until I was 29. So this was a later in life kind of career. Backing up a little bit, while I was in high school, actually before that, when I was 12, my mom was working in a little boutique just for on the side. My dad had a very successful business at the time and we had relocated. So my mom was kind of getting her footing and she worked at a little boutique. And my mom, I swear we're two peas in a pod. We're the same way. After days of working there, she was like, I can do this. I can open a store. I can do that, And so we started the path to opening a home decor boutique. Now, my mom was an interior decorator at that point. We say interior designer, but you actually have to have a degree to work as an interior designer. Now, I worked as an interior decorator for people, and so did she, because I had a design and fashion. I had a fashion design degree, not an interior design degree. So I don't have the certificate that you need in the States in order to work like that. And as long as you disclose it, I think it's fine. I don't know. Don't quote me on any of that. I think that's just my limited knowledge on working like that. So she wanted to open a boutique. We went to market where you buy all merchandise. It was a new experience. I would travel with her. When I was 12, we opened the store and we decorated it, and it was so much fun. I mean, looking back on it, it was so much fun. I think being a teenager, I didn't fully appreciate it or appreciate all the work that my mom put into creating that for me. Why am I saying for me? For us, for our family. And it worked her to the bone, but it was so fun and it was such a creative outlet, but it was also a big business and it was really successful. My mom has an amazing personality and she's a very people person. Now, I am more introverted than her. I didn't find myself loving the retail part of things. I didn't love like when the customers would come in. I was always friendly, but it was kind of like the doorbell would ring when people would come. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go out there. Don't make me go out there. And that was just how I felt. What I thrived at and what I loved is the decorating portion. And I started this, I drew this map, and I remember I drew this map of the store and I highlighted different sections of it. So it would be like, there was like two main, the shape of the store was really deep. So I created 6 sections because I worked there 6 days of the week, Monday through Saturday, every day after school. And especially when I got to a senior, I didn't have as many classes. I had already had my classes to graduate. So I was only going to school for a few hours. So I could work a lot. And so I worked with her right after school. I would go to the store and I would work. But I was the designer, the stager, the floor designer. I would decorate these little vignettes and these little sections of the store with our merchandise and how you would envision them in your home, just preparing things together. And I would do it and I would rotate it. So on Monday, I would do the front of the store. And on Tuesday, I would do the right behind that part. And then Wednesday, I would do the back of the store. And then Thursday, I would start on the other side and do it. And then it would rotate every week. I would start it over. So every time if a customer came in every week, they would always see something new. So we found that it really worked in our favor in terms of the business and sales and it worked. So that was my job. And that's when I really fell in love with like designing and decorating. But interior design was always my mom's thing. It was always her thing, and I kind of wanted to pave my own path. So that's actually why I went to fashion design school. Still creative, still, on the side that I what I wanted to do. But it wasn't particularly homes. It was clothing. And then after working, so now jumping forward, after I had been working in fashion for a while and entered a lot, I quickly realized that I didn't want to design people's clothing. I didn't see myself standing behind a pattern making table and designing clothes. And I just liked the industry, really. So I think when I started, when I went back for my bachelor's and I kind of took the route that I took, I went more into marketing. And I felt like it was really more creative. And then I quickly became a glorified manager. I just handled people's problems. It was just constant. And I just didn't feel fulfilled. I wasn't doing anything creative anymore. I was more so overseeing the creative positions. And that is not what I wanted to do with my life. And when I got to 29, it was a few months before my 29th birthday. And this had been kind of years in the making. I was a VP of marketing for 6 years. And years in the making, I started saving. I was like, I need to prepare myself for my next phase in life. I need to figure it out. Like, what am I going to do? What's going to make me happy? And if someone else can do it, so can I. And so I started saving as much as I possibly could. When I got to a few months before my 29th birthday, it was in February of 2017, I was like, I have to do this now, because if I don't change my life before I'm 30, now this is just my own mentality. If I don't change my life before I'm 30, I'm going to regret it. Now, would that be the case? No, but it was just in my head. That's what I thought. And so I was really stressed at work. I was crying all the time. I had taken on way too much responsibility. There were internal problems. There were external, it was just not for me anymore, even though I made a good living. I don't think I would have ever had the house that I wanted, or, I think that I had hit a glass ceiling. I wasn't going to be able to grow any more than where I was at. So this was really just in my own head that I needed to change my life before I was 30 to be on the right track. So it was about February, and I didn't know when I was going to do it. I didn't know when I was going to leave. It was a very cushy job. Kind of everyone around me said, like, oh, you better have a plan before you do that. Like, you better have something else lined up. And I totally did not. I feel like it took so much of me that I couldn't plan my next move past my job, because I'm just like, I can't think. I need time I need time away from this so that I can actually figure out my next plan of attack for my life. And so I saved as much as I could. I had 2 years. I could live in my apartment with my bills and with Romeo and all of our stuff. We could live for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, I would have no more money. I would have to redo my resume, and I would have to go back to work, and then somehow figure out what to say about this 2-year lapse in my resume, right? But whatever, I was willing to do it. So I quit, like on the spot. I just couldn't do it anymore. We were having a conversation. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm so sorry. I cannot do this anymore. I gave 4 months notice. I had a high job in the business. I was going to give 4 months. I trained someone I was respectful as I could be, but it just wasn't right for me. So I left and had no idea what I was doing. I leaned on what I knew, right? I was in marketing. I did designed websites. I was a fashion designer. I did all of those things. So I was like, okay, what businesses could I start that were in the realm of what I did before, right? But then I realized, well, I didn't really want to be in marketing. I didn't really want to design people's websites, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was so confused. And so I think it was about 9 months into me being out of work when I started to get 2 years wasn't enough for me. 9 years, I was already uncomfortable. Seeing the decline in my bank account instead of it being steady or going up was really, really uncomfortable for me. So I started taking side jobs and doing some, I don't know, I would design people's websites. I would do some marketing things, all while trying to start my own business, which was in marketing, helping small businesses, and doing coursework. I tried that for a little while, like creating courses to help people learn. I was like, what am I doing? And then it was about 9 months into it, and I was like, okay, I need to do something else. So I had this desk and I needed to do something about it. It was kind of ugly, and I wanted to set up this desk office situation for me in my apartment, and I wanted to do something to it. And so I had watched a couple of videos on YouTube. I really wasn't a YouTube watcher at that point, but I had a friend that was a YouTuber and doing completely different stuff. I actually worked with her at a previous company, and then she, you guys know her Kristen McAtee, and so she worked with me in fashion, and so she was doing it. And we would have lunch all the time, and she would talk about it, and I was like, maybe if I, record me doing something to this desk or setting up my office space, maybe it could be something. Let me try it. So I filmed my first video, which was an IKEA hack. And I put concrete on this black IKEA table. I made a concrete top out of it. And the video was super, please don't go back. I always talk about this video and I'm like, please don't go watch the video, but I know you are. I know like everyone's going to be curious. My voice was really high. I was really uncomfortable. I just didn't know how to be on camera. Gratefully, I had a camera already, so that's what I used to build the channel. And I did this IKEA hack. My video was 5 minutes. And I remember sending the video to my nieces, RJ's nieces, Ava and Zoe. I was like, give me your thoughts, because you guys are in this world. You watch these videos. And she was like, Ava goes, maybe it should be a little longer. I was like, okay. So I got better. And what I do with everything is I go all in. And I always give myself a year. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this for a year. I'm not going to overanalyze it. I'm not going to pick it apart. I'm not really going to see what's working and what's not. I'm just going to put myself and dedicate and be consistent for a year. So I committed to uploading once a week. I committed to upgrading my skills, figuring out how to edit. I had to learn how to edit. Every month, I would add something that I could afford to my kind of equipment. So maybe one month it was trying to make the audio better. And then maybe the next month was maybe getting a subscription to some music so that I could use better music in my videos. Maybe the next month was just learning something new, with me editing. Maybe it was just that. So every month I would up my skill level and I would research and figure out how to make better and better content. And by the end of the year, I still wasn't making any money from it, but it was promising. I think at the end of the year, and I can look back and see the exact, I kept notes of how much, like how many new subscribers or views that I was making every month, or milestones. And I think I had hit 1,000 subscribers. And that was pretty pivotal because on YouTube, you needed to hit 1,000 subscribers and also a specific number of watched hours in order to even monetize your channel, in order to even make money from all of this. So it was a year of nothing. Me just investing. So now granted, now we're at a year and 9 months of me not working. Now I have done some side jobs to kind of supplement my income a little bit, but we're at a year and 9 months and I am quickly running out of money. And I'm like, oh my God, McKenna, what did you do? Like, the doubt sinks in, but also I know I'm capable. So I kept going. So then it got to a year and 10 months. And once I hit 1,000 subscribers, it started to grow a little quicker. You hit a milestone and it becomes a little bit easier. And then we got to a year and 11 months, the end of the 11 months. And I was like, I had one more month of rent money, bill money, food money. I had 1 month left before I needed to put in my resumes out to people. You know what I mean? I was already researching jobs because I'm just like eccentric like that. I need to be prepared for the worst. That month, I made enough on YouTube to pay my rent. And I was mind blown. Like I cried. I couldn't believe it worked. I didn't know if it was going to continue to work, but for 1 month, I made enough to pay for everything. we went through, if you guys knew the side jobs that Romeo and I did, we charged scooters. People don't know this. We charged scooters, you know, the lime and, what's the other ones called? Not lime. Bird scooters. If you have them in your cities, like I would do that. We had 40 scooters charging in our apartment every night. And we would wake up at 4 a.m. and put them back on the street for people to use. We did DoorDash. We did Amazon Fresh. We would deliver groceries early in the morning. We did, and this is when I really leaned on Romeo so much. And he was always there, and he is a workhorse. Like, his work ethic is unparalleled. Like, and he set all these up for us, and we would do them together, and he just really kept us afloat. And I'm so grateful, you know, to have a partner that was willing to do that and support me in trying to figure out this next phase. And now we are greatly thankful that we did that, but now we're here, you know. And so we did the most amazing thing. We did the most weird things during that time, but we got to that 1 year and 11 months and I made enough for rent. And then the next month I did it again and I did it again. And not only, then it started to be like, I didn't not just do 1 month, but I did a month and a half. And then I did 2 months and it's finally started to feel like something was working. And my leap of faith on myself, in myself, to leave the corporate job, the cushy corporate job that everyone told me not to leave. But I believed in myself and I stayed consistent and I didn't let myself down more than anything. And I dove in and really tried and learned and got better. And just, I feel like that could be applied to anything that you want to do, and not specifically YouTube, just anything, you know, consistency and getting better every day. And I did it. And now we are here. And it has been 5 years since that happened. That was, you know, 2017 when I left my corporate job, 2018 when I started the channel, and now we are in 2023. I guess it'll be 6 years this year. I don't know if I did that math right. I did that pretty quickly. Somewhere around there, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. No, it'll be 5 years this year. And so I think I'm just proof that if you set your mind to something and you stay consistent and you go all in and you think smart and you supplement where you can and you make everything work, that it can really pay off in a really amazing way. And I'm so grateful to what we have built. And now, not only what we've built on YouTube, but also where I'm at in life. Like, I'm sitting in a 111-year-old cottage that I have been renovating from the ground up for almost 2 years now. And it is going to be, and I hope it's going to be, the purest expression of my creativity. I mean, every day I wake up and create, right? I wake up and I work my tail off. Like, I work hard. Like, and I think of myself as an interior designer first. And then aside from that, adjacent to that, parallel to that, I am a content creator. I'm an interior designer first. So I wake up every day with the intention of what I'm going to create that day and what I'm going to design and decorate and build that day. And I'm constantly leveling up my experience. I'm constantly doing more and getting better because I love that. That's in me. And I've DIY'd so much in this house. I am so proud. I look at something and I'm like, I can't believe I built that. I mean, I can, but I'm like, I did that, you know, and it has been so empowering doing this house. And I know it will continue after this house is done. Eventually this house will be completed and it will be this year, you know, but moving on to the next project and hopefully one day flipping homes. I see that in my future, you know, not finishing up a house that we can see as our maybe forever home. I don't know. But then flipping homes and it's just, I'm so grateful that this is my job now. So I hope I am an example of what's possible, but also just your daily dose or your weekly or bi-weekly here or your daily dose on all the channels of just feel good inspiration. And I hope you leave here inspired to just do whatever it is. And no matter what's led you to this year, when we're in 2023 and where anything's possible, like anything, you can do anything. And I've lived a full life before this. I feel like I've, done the corporate thing. I've done the 9 to 5 grind. I've done so many different jobs. I've worked for so many different companies, from even being young and working at a pizza place. And I've had so many different jobs in different industries, and I wake up every day happy. I wake up every day fulfilled. I wake up every day ready to tackle the day, and I work my butt off to make it happen. And I'm going to start a project tomorrow, or today, later today. And I'm always planning. So roundabout, this is how the name of the podcast came to be, With My Own 2 Hands, because I'm literally doing not only this house, not only my content, but not only my life with my own 2 hands. And maybe you want to too. Maybe this will inspire you to do that too. But that is my background. So now, what do you guys want to hear? I have some ideas. I definitely want to have my mom be a consistent host. If you guys watch the channel, specifically my vlog channel, you've seen my mom so much over the last 2 years that I've been in Texas. That's actually why we bought this house in Texas, to be close to them, thinking of our retirement more so than anything. But we do hope to have a home in close-ish to Los Angeles in California. And I would definitely want to have her. I know from the comments that you definitely want to see Romeo. I'm going to try and work on him, but he's a little bit camera shy at times. Definitely Drew, Lone Fox, Drew. I mean, we're so close. I'm going to knock on his door and make him pull him into the podcast so that we can talk about it. But we have so much, like mistakes that we've made, lessons we've learned, style and decorating tips, and anything under the sun. So if you are watching the video, comment what you want to hear. DM me on Instagram, wherever. I'll put some poll boxes places. I just want to hear everything, and don't stop them from coming. It's always going to be open, and I don't know. We'll figure out something where you guys can message in or something, so that we have them all in one place, so I can really answer your questions. And of course, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the With My Own 2 Hands podcast channel. My other channels, if you're watching this for the first time, if you're seeing me or hearing me for the first time, hi, welcome. I'm so happy for you to be part of our community. Just so grateful. You guys, I'm just so grateful. I have the words. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode, just kind of gearing us up for what we were going to be. And I think it was appropriate to kind of revisit my past and how we got here. And then my mom will be on episode 2, which I'm excited about. We'll talk about styles. And my mom has had a lot of styles over the years. So it's going to be important for her to, she brings a lot of knowledge to this. So I even learn from her every day. So she's going to be on episode 2. So she will be on episode 2. So I will see you guys very, very soon. And then if you want even more content, follow me over on YouTube. We're kicking off the new year strong. We've got a lot of projects. Get excited. I'm excited. I'll see you guys really soon. Bye, guys.